Hi, good day, and welcome to Rico Anime Recaps. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Lloyd fires his gun at the dog, hitting the strap holding the bomb to the dog, causing it to fall off. The dog pounces Lloyd and pushes him to the ground, prompting Keith to detonate the bomb. However, Lloyd had already thrown the bomb into the river behind him, so he was unharmed by the explosion. Lloyd pulls the dog up, still biting his arm, and throws it into the dumpster next to him. Keith, believing he was following Minister Brantz the whole time, is surprised by all this and sees that the shadowy man in the distance is not him. Keith realizes that his plan is in trouble, so he tries to drive away from the situation. While Keith drives off, Yor frantically looks around for Anya, who had just run away from her again. While crossing a footbridge, she spots Keith driving away. She jumps down onto the road in front of him. Keith tries to go forward, but Yor kicks his car off the road, causing him to crash and fall unconscious. She calls the police about finding the terrorist in an accident, leaving out that she caused it. After hanging up, she resumes her search for Onya. Back at Kimono Park, the pitch shop run by Wise, Lloyd, Handler, and the other two Wise agents discuss all that went down that day. Handler states that they will let the Austinian government handle cleaning up all the mess. One agent asks if that includes giving them the dogs, but Handler says they will keep them for now until they get further orders. Afterward, Lloyd takes his leave, telling them that he needs to get back to his family. However, outside the shop, he runs into Anya. Bond and Yor make excuses to Lloyd about why they were not at the adoption fair. Before Lloyd asks about Bond, Yor explains the whole situation, shocking Lloyd, not knowing they got caught in the terrorist crisis. Lloyd apologizes for being stuck in the restroom and yells at Anya for running off. Afterward, he confirms her safety and Anya tells him Bond protected her. Lloyd recognizes the dog as a Project Apple test subject and thanks him. Handler and another Wise agent disguised as SSS agents approach the family and tell them they need to ask the forger some questions. After they answer the questions, Handler says they will need to take the dog. However, Anya refuses the idea, telling them that the only dog she wants is Bond. Lloyd attempts to convince her to pick another dog, but Anya is too attached to him. After he saved her life, she tells them that if she cannot keep Bond, she will never go to school again, shocking Lloyd and Handler. Handler decides that that would be fine, shocking Lloyd even more. Yor asks if that would be okay, and Handler tells her they will sort things out. Lloyd tries to change Handler's mind, but Handler is set on the idea. As she does not want to endanger Operation Strikes, Anna asks Handler if they will treat the dogs well, and Handler assures her that they will. After talking about Anna with Lloyd, Handler mentions having had a child around the same age and smiles at the thought that peace had won the day. Today, Handler tells them they will take Bond overnight to have him examined for any health issues, and if no issues are found, they will bring him to their home tomorrow. Walking back home, Yor and Anna proudly think about how they saved the day while Lloyd just painfully sighs about narrowly saving it. The next day, Anna anxiously moves around the apartment waiting for Bond to arrive. She hears a buzz from the door before a Wise agent brings Bond into the room. Anya excitedly welcomes Bond to his new home while Lloyd and Yor smile at him. Bond imagines his past life in Project Apple, where he was experimented on and abused by scientists, and starts looking down. Onya and Yor wonder if he is okay and tell him that he is now part of the Forger family. He excitedly barks at this and Onya gives him a big hug. Onya Forger asks if it's true that she won't be getting a Stella Star for helping to stop the terrorists. Lloyd Forger confirms and tells her that they need to keep it a secret for East-West relations so she can't tell anyone at school about it. Anya decides that since she can't get a Stella Star from the crisis, she'll instead continue with the plan of becoming friends with Damien Desmond. She plans to tell him she got a dog and hopes he'll invite her to his house so he can see whose dog is bigger. Anya enters classroom 1067 and greets Becky Black Bell. Onya tells Becky that she got a dog. She proceeds to ask some questions about the dog before inviting Onya to a dog play date. Believing her plan will work, Onya dashes to the hall to find Damien. She tells him that she got a dog, to which he questions why he should care. Onya, feeling that the world is doomed because her plan failed, drops to her knees in despair. Emil Alman and Ewan Egbert compliment him for being able to easily take her down, while Damien is confused by everyone's reaction. Deciding to indulge her, a bashful Damien asks for her dog's name. Anya enthusiastically gets up from her knees and prepares to tell him her dog's name, but then realizes she hasn't given him one yet. She tells him the dog's name is Dog, and Damien leaves, telling her she is unfit to own a pet. At lunch in the cafeteria, Onya asks Becky how to name a dog. Becky tells her to just name her dog after something like a flower or food. Onya immediately comes to the name Peanut, but Becky shoots down the idea because it doesn't fit how her dog looks. Anya imagines her dog and then comes to the name Furry, and Becky shoots it down again and tells her to let her parents handle the name. Anya arrives home and gets trampled by Bond Forger, who is excited to see her. Your comments that he looks happy to see Anya. Lloyd states that they should take Bond for a walk and mentions a dog park by the library. Anya tells Lloyd she wants to walk Bond, but he tells her to wait until she's older, so Bond doesn't end up walking her. Lloyd explains to her that a dog needs constant discipline and that she has a responsibility to care for him for his whole life. Lloyd questions whether Anna has picked out a name yet, and she states she hasn't. He tells her that dogs prefer plosives like B.P and T for their name. You're mishearing it, as Explosives imagines an assassin job with Bond where he only wants to use C4. When they arrive at the park, Anya enthusiastically wants to play fetch with Bond. She throws her shoe in the hopes that Bond will go after it, but ends up having to retrieve it herself. She thinks maybe it's because he doesn't have a name yet. So she goes around the park asking dog owners about their dogs' names to help come up with one. While watching Anya play with Bond, Lloyd thinks back to his comment about having to take care of the dog for her whole life and realizes that he's not one to talk about such things. Once he completes his mission, he'll abandon the Forger family and let Wise take care of them. Instead, Lloyd calls out to Anya, telling her it's time to go. Anya comes over, but then realizes that her gloves are missing. Bond sniffs out the gloves and finds them in another dog's mouth. Anya yells at the dog to give her the gloves back, but the dog just growls at her. Seeing it as their treasure now, Bond approaches the dog, scaring it, and it drops the gloves, allowing Bond to pick them up and return them to Anya. Anya imagines a similar scene from Spy Wars, where Bondman recovers Princess Honey's stomach warmer from the League of Evil, making her realize the perfect dog name. When they get home, Onya wraps a bow tie around Bond's neck and tells the family his name will be Bond. The whole family, including Bond, seems to approve of the name. Onya gets out Bond's food and pours it into a bowl for him while he eats. She sneaks in a bite of his food, but realizes that it doesn't taste very good. She notices that he's fidgeting, so she takes him to his toilet, where he uses the litter box to poop. Afterwards, the two head to the TV to watch Spy Wars. Lloyd yells at her, telling her to be ready to study once he's out of the bath. After finishing his bath, Yor eagerly beckons to look around the corner, to which he sees Onya and Bond curled up against each other on the floor asleep. Yor giggles and Lloyd decides to give her a pass from studying for the night, and this brings the anime to an end.
Thanks for watching Rico Anime Recaps. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you can get more videos like this.